This video was recorded in front of a live virtual audience. Hi everybody, Jacob here. Welcome back to the Fashion Bunker. Today we're going to be reviewing my tiniest Chanel bag. The tiniest Chanel bag that I own in leather. And it is from the Fall-Winter 2013-2014 Chanel collection. I will be showing you the catalog it is from, as well as the bag, which did exist in several sizes. It is a very particular shape, quite rare for Chanel standards, and highly collectible in terms of the minuscule attention to detail that is paid to in this tiny bag. You're going to notice it's it's crazy. It's very sculptural. Before we get to the review of the bag, I would like to say subscribe to my channel if you haven't already and like my content. Push the subscription button, and next to the subscription button you can also push the join button if you wish to become a member of my channel as well as a subscriber and get extra perks. You can also join me on Patreon, Super Jacob all spelled together, to get access to special videos that do not come to YouTube. Thank you to all my patrons and members who have already pledged. Thank you guys so much. This video is being filmed live in front of a virtual bunker audience. So my co-reviewers and co-chatters are on the sidebar here in the review. I shall be reading your comments. So let's get to this bag. Now, it did come in this pouch because obviously seasonal bags, they put them in the black pouch, not in the microfiber white pouch. You do get the microfiber glove with it. It is so tiny. In this case, I don't know why. I just left it in this pouch. I didn't go for the microfiber pouch. Look, you guys, it's so small that you see, when I say it's the tiniest Chanel bag I own, it literally is the tiniest Chanel bag I own. It's much smaller than the mini rectangular, and it's much smaller than the mini square. So here it is. This little creature is adorable. It is in lambskin, black lambskin with aged gold hardware. And I have here one microfiber glove. I asked my sales associate for two because I used the other one to keep the chain in it. And then this little tiny cutie has a chain that goes through this sort of little tunnel construction here, which is on top of the bag. So let me do a close-up of it. So you got this little passage here through which there you have it, through which the chain runs through, and in fact hold on, you see it just goes through it. Now what I do, because of course the chain, the leather intertwined through the chain, at a certain point it ends and then it's connected at one spot here. And I do receive often, this is hard to see, I do receive often messages of people asking me like, oh, Jacob, there's something wrong with my chain. Why is it detached there? Like, why is the leather detached here? And I always explain to people, you see that light going through there? I'm like, that's normal. The leather ended on one end, it ended on the other, and then they have to seal it off. That's totally normal. But that particular spot, which is very delicate, is the part that I always put inside of my little tunnel here so that it's always protected so it doesn't get scratched in any way. It does have gold hardware that is very, very buttery, and the buttery feel of it is due to the lambskin leather that is intertwined in this chain. So this chain has a very buttery suppleness to the touch, and it does not make a clingy, hollow type of chain sound, but rather it's a full metal chain sound, and it's also very, very heavy. In fact, I think the chain is heavier than the bag itself. It's really, really heavy. So I'm going to bring it close to the microphone here and try to give you an impression of the sound of this chain. And it's almost not going to make any sound because it is that buttery. You know, it is that... Wait, hold on. it's almost imperceptible to the sound. It's that thick and juicy and delicious. As tiny as this bag is, look how thin it is. It still has a back pocket, and they were very clever to actually make the back pocket go all the way from one end to the other to give us as much space as possible, rather than just, doing a little Mona Lisa, a little Munchkin miniature Mona Lisa smile here. It would make absolutely no sense. I mean, this already is borderline making no sense, because what are you going to put in here? It's so delicate. But the attention to detail. Now, this is from a time when Chanel lambskin, this is like one of those last seasons or years when they still did that same opulent, rich textured, buttery lambskin like they did in the 90s and the 80s. And this is one of the last bags that actually implemented that buttery texture. They kind of started doing it again now, but with their timeless classics, they would have, nowadays you're not going to see this high class lambskin utilized for their seasonal bags. They don't even use this high class lambskin anymore for their minis, let alone for the seasonal bags. So this is really, really a special treat, because it has the quality of the lambskin that we're used to from Chanel from the 90s. And so the construction is so complex. Look at this tiny bag, and yet they put so much attention to detail. So if we zoom into the side here, the stitch is so fascinating. It goes all around, and it unifies and it unites this back pocket, the back panel, and then enclosed within its stitching in unity is this little tiny, we could call it tubular shape, and also it goes into here, and then out comes the flap. So it's almost like two petals of a flower or two leaves of a flower. They're all united together here. So this particular spot of the bag holds the whole structure of the bag together. The front has a typical double C lock used for, let me zoom in again, used for seasonal Chanel bags, meaning that the double C also has here on this corner an extra stamp that says Chanel Paris, copyright, trademark, what does it say? Chanel Paris and the double C. They don't put this on their, classics. These are the seasonal bags, usually get this. And the lock, the turn lock, this is the same size as their small and medium. So it's like a miniature bag with a huge lock. And then when you open it, the attention to detail goes further, because inside they went that extra mile and they gave us a burgundy interior. They did not give us, they did not just go quickly cheap black interior. They went for the classic, Chanel classic burgundy interior. I'm not going to stretch it out too much, but what is also amazing, in such a tiny space, they did the burgundy, so it's leather within leather. So it's double leather. We got leather on the inside, leather on the outside, leather on the inside. So it's a bag-in-bag concept. Plus they added one pocket here where I put the authenticity card. So it's a little tiny pocket just for one card. And then they put another pocket here where you can put more stuff. And then there's the main compartment here. And then we got the back pocket here. And if that wasn't enough, they also made the back side of the back pocket also lined with burgundy leather. So of course this is really hard to see, and I don't want to stretch out the back pocket, but the lining inside is burgundy. Which is like impossible to see. Trust you me, it's burgundy. It's just super hard. I don't want to stretch it out too much. And now, just to like give you a feeling of how tiny this bag really is, imagine that this is not like from, hold on, from here to here, this is not the actual width of the bag. Why am I saying this? It's much shorter than that. Because if we flip it, you see that it's actually dented inwards here and here. So they've created this whole concept of this almost like a wallet type of structure. You see, that kind of folds in together. So it never opens up completely. It stops there. It's that tight. So in reality, this whole width of the whole width, you only have this much actual space inside of the bag. So this is in fact a concept and a necklace at the end of the day. So I do wear it as such. I just hang it around my neck, and that's how I go out and about. I don't have much space back here, but that's basically how I go about it. Sometimes you could make the chain shorter and let it hang up to here. I've done that in the past. You could like tie a knot between the two of these chains. You could go through the hole there, and you could kind of tie this one with this one together with a little ribbon, and then you could hold it, and this would hang in the back of your neck. Or you could make it hang on the side of your neck as well if you wanted to. But this is really a conceptual bag, and because it's so flat, it lays really close to the chest. Now let me show you the different variations of this one that existed. Now when this one came out, of course, everybody wanted the black one. They came out in white and pink and a lot of different colors. I have here the original catalog. It was the Chanel Traveling in Space collection, Fall-Winter 2013-2014. It's all silvery, when Carl ruled the world. And remember, from this collection were the famous boots with the chains hanging in the front. Remember these boots? Everybody wanted these boots back in 2013-14. So let me get to... Let me see if I can find a photo of the bag floating in outer space. Everything is very... Oh, this is another photo. So it's very... I love this collection because of this catalog, and it's very Space Odyssey, 2001 Space Odyssey. So all the Chanel models are out in space. And, oh gosh, this bag was amazing back then. So it's like a timeless classic with that kind of turned handle. Almost looked like an iron, like an old school iron. And the price was really cheap, and I'm so angry at myself that I haven't gotten it back then, because I didn't, and now forget it. I mean, what are you going to do? What are you going to do? Let me just see. And this was still back in the day when Chanel showcased a lot of pieces that they didn't produce. Like, for example, most of these pants did not go into production. They were just made for the show. So you would ask in the boutique and they would be like, oh no, this was just for the photo shoot. You know, now they produce everything. Now, basically what they show, they really do make. But look at these bags. Oh, I love them so much. They're so useless. They're amazing. And they were really affordable back then. Where is my little tiny creature? Let me see. Ah, this was also the year that they made the globe clutch, the Minaudière. Remember this one? This was the year where they like jumped up their prices for these little resin bags to like astronomical heights. Prior to that year, they were like around 2,000-3,000, and they jumped to 8,000 all of a sudden. And remember the so-called Lego Chanel bag? That was kind of the round about the year when they started making them. A bit prior to that already, but here it is, my little beauty in white. It's floating in space. There it is. That's my little beauty there. This is the white version of it. And it's just floating in hyperspace. So cool. I love this catalog. Everything is floating in space. Oh, look how beautiful these kind of shirts slash jackets or shirts, these floral pattern shirts. Just not so fond of the hair, but really, really fond of the floral patterns on these clothes. While they're like drinking tea in outer space, darling. I mean, only Carl. So back to the bag again. So as we said, 2013, 2014, and it is the first leather out of the boutique bought Chanel bag. So 2013, 14, 7 years old. And I have to say, it's looking mighty good after 7 years. I ain't complaining. Again, I am using a camera that has film grain quality to it, so everything is slightly desaturated. So you might be thinking, oh wait, this little bag doesn't look that black. Why does it look so like grayish blue? Actually, this one has a red tint to it. So this one actually has a red base underneath the black. Or is it a blue base? It's kind of hard to tell right now. But it's a much more black, saturated black color than it comes across on camera because the camera is desaturating all the colors. MK says, my cousin has the same bag. Does yours also have some shades of navy? Those mini bags used to be so cheap back then. Less than 1,800, 1,900 if I'm not mistaken. Yeah, they were less than that. It has no shades of blue. It is completely black. It is completely black. As I said, it's a desaturated. The camera desaturates the image, creates a little bit more cinematographic feel. This whole look is a bit desaturated. So, in fact, this red shirt is much more red than it appears now. And the bag is an intense black in real life. But, you know, since lambskin is so buttery in this case, it really reflects light like crazy. Like, because it is a buttery soft texture. It is a seasonal piece, and this seasonal bag in this shape was only produced in Italy. So I got it made in Italy. You know, I love my Chanel bags to be made in France, but if I fall in love with a design and it is a seasonal design that will be out only once, and that particular style is only produced in Italy, then I buy it made in Italy. It is what it is. But the quality is amazing. I'm super happy. Italy really delivered this leather good in a way, I mean, it still smells like the day I bought it. The smell of lambskin leather, it's something else. It's really something else. I love this bag so much. And, you know, not even my minis have such a buttery feel. Even the mini that I have, the lambskin rectangular black mini with gold hardware, with silver hardware. You could check out the review of that one in the cart section up here, but I'll post a link in the description box down below. Even that one doesn't have such a buttery chain like this one does. And the metal doesn't feel as creamy buttery like this one does. This is just amazing. This is the only Chanel bag I have where the chain really comes across as luxurious. All the others, they're luxurious in their own way, but they don't have this almost wet feeling. Like this one almost feels wet to the touch every time. It's amazing. It's so delicious. Let me read your comments. Deco, when my cousin got this bag, I was all about the Edinburgh collection. It seems to be so long ago. Yeah, the Edinburgh collection came after this though, you guys. It's coming through on video how soft it is, says Debbie. I mean, and the chain, I mean, you can see how it moves. You know, you know how metal tends to move, but this one kind of flows like water. It's so heavy. And look, when you just kind of put it in your hand, wait, I can do it like that. It's just going to fall like really, really heavy on my, wait, let me see if I can do this. It's like, I can't describe it. It's literally, I mean, this is the beauty of many Chanel pieces for me personally. It's not just a visual experience, it's a tactile experience. These pieces are so beautiful to the touch. They feel right. They give you a totally new tactile experience, olfactive experience. I mean, they also have a smell to them. And you're touching materials that are rare to find usually, you know, and it's an experience for the fingers also, not just for the eyes, but also touching these bags is an experience on its own, and is a luxury experience in its own right, you know, and that also deserves in part a certain amount of money. You know, you're paying also for the tactile experience of it. I mean, in so many details to make something so tiny and do it with so much masterful artistry without any mistakes and flaws. I mean, this is hard. It's easier to make bigger bags. The smaller the bag, the more you got to really pay attention to details. Otherwise, it's going to look off. It's not going to look right. There's going to be mistakes. It's going to look clumpy. It's going to look clunky, you know, because when something is so tiny, you really got to pay extra attention to every single detail you're working with. And if you don't, it goes off and then it just looks cheap or wrong. But this one, they really went for it. Like, they really made something as if it were the most expensive, luxurious bag out there, when in fact it was like entry price level. I mean, it wasn't really back then. The wallet on chain was cheaper than this. So this would be, you know, wallet on chain would be an entry price level of something on a chain by Chanel. This would be higher than that, but still, we're talking, I mean, today, if they released something like this, it would cost 3 times as much or 2.5 times as much. I mean, it's insane. The prices, the Chanel prices have gone skyrocketed. It's insane. Debbie says, cell phone and a key. Debbie, honestly, I don't even think a cell phone fits in here. And a key doesn't fit in here because the key would scratch the leather up like nobody's business. Like, I would say tissues without the plastic wrapper around, just the tissue, the soft tissues. And maybe if you have a very well-rounded, with no hard edges, lipstick, and that's it. Oh, Oliver says, I miss Carl. Yeah, I miss him too. Jack says, I love that collection. Oh, it's a really good one. Only you would say they are so useless and they are amazing. Says I'm Louis. Yes, I mean, listen, they are so useless, but honestly, they give me joy. It's like saying, you know how many things are useless in life and yet they're amazing? And I'm not ashamed to say that some things are useless but are amazing. I think we all have that in our lives, things that we love so much but they're so useless. It's not like we should only love things that are useful. Why? Something that is useful is practical, but not necessarily lovable. Taxes, if they're done properly, taxes are very useful and practical for society to flourish, to help each other out. Taxes are there to actually, you pay taxes so that society can grow, so that if it's done properly, your taxes are contributing to, funding street repairs, hospitals, this and that, depending what society you're living in. So they're useful and practical, but they're not amazing. You don't like to pay them. So true is also of vice versa. Something that is not useful and practical can be amazing, on the other hand. MK says, oh, I think I got a black navy jacket from this collection or the winter before. The second collection looks similar. The buttons are like planet-shaped, right? Planet-shaped? Yeah, Earth-shaped. Earth, I think. Oliver says, Jacob, how do you usually wear this bag to keep it in such good shape? Yeah, just around my neck. I wear it as like a necklace, just around my neck. Yeah, Paul Parker, yeah, around his neck. I really regret not buying bags when I first became interested in luxury in 2014-15. Now the prices are so high, I will not consider paying it. It's insane how they've gone up. I mean, guys, you can check out my video why I don't buy Chanel bags anymore. I posted that a couple of weeks ago to my channel as well. I explained the reasons. There are still some Chanel bags that I would buy, but not in the timeless classics and like those classic bags range, because those are insane. Those prices are insane. They still do release from time to time some seasonal Chanel bags where, because they are seasonal pieces and that will not be redone again further on down the line, or in any near foreseeable future, then they keep those prices still relatively affordable. No, they're not affordable, but they keep them at a point where they are, let's say, 1/3 of the price of their classics, which compared to the price of the classics in the crazy world of Chanel seems affordable, but it's still overpriced, obviously. But still 1/3 of the price of a classic, and maybe even bigger than the classic, not produced with so much attention to detail, simpler, only one flap instead of two, less details, the chain is simpler, but it's still a beautiful bag. I mean, the seasonal Chanel bags are the bags I wear the most. I wear them more than the classics ones that I own, because they're just more practical for everyday use, for my type of lifestyle. Jack says, time flies. I know, 6 years old, this little baby. It's like jewelry, says Amelia. Liquid metal, says Jack Dean. Paul says it's called quality. Yeah, Paul says, not some rinky-dink rattly chain. Exactly, says Kira. Better than most jewelry, to be honest. Most jewelry is garbage. $9,000 crap. Mass-produced, no craftsmanship. These days, even pre-loved, the pieces have risen out of proportion. It is not so much the money, but the principle, says Daniel about luxury bags. MK says, no, Jacob, the Edinburgh collection came out in boutique in June 2013. My cousin got this bag in September 2013, and I got a Scottish jacket. I remember that day vividly. Rue Cambon was jam-packed. I still have the catalog with Tilda Swinton in it from the Edinburgh collection. I have to double check the date. You might be right, because I think the next Métier d'Art after that was Paris Dallas, and that was 2014. So it could have been 2013. But 9 collections a year, like after so many years, I tend to forget. I might skip up a year in my mind. I have them all archived, but referencing them like this out of the head, I might be off by a year. Almost everything has doubled since 2013, says Amelia, in price. Oh yes, doubled or tripled in some cases. MK says, Jacob, me too. I never wear classics, and I find seasonals much more fun. They are more fun. But, we all go, when we start collecting Chanel, we all go through this kind of process of, first we want the classics, then we want them all to be in black. And then when you've done the classics and you've done the black, then you start kind of going for color. Then you start going for then you discover the materials, you discover the tweeds, the really gorgeous stuff of Chanel, the velvets, the jerseys. And then you go for the more experimental seasonal shapes, but that's all stuff that if you never bought a Chanel bag before and you want to start somewhere, you don't start from there. Usually you're going to start with classics. You're going to start with a wallet on chain, with a mini, or you're going to build your way up to a small or a medium or a jumbo, and some people who really, really love Chanel, they're going to try to get the 255. And then after that, you're going to kind of dial it down in a way. You're going to kind of go to the more experimental pieces. But I think for people who discover Chanel for the first time, or just they want to get into Chanel, they're going to go for the classics first. I think it's just the way that's kind of the way it flows. I mean, my first Chanel bag was not a classic. It was this one. But it is a classic in extra mini form, actually. A reinvention of it. So, and I'm so happy that I got it, because it's the tiniest Chanel bag I have, and it's super cute. I love it to bits. It's like a little tiny jewel. Emily says, "Oh, Paris Dallas, yeah, that was a good collection." Oh, 9-karat gold crap, Paul Parker meant, not $9,000 jewelry. MK says, Jacob, me too. I never wear class. Oh, I read that one. That's right, Jacob. MK says, I am sure of my statement because I had a Chanel break after until 2016, after the Edinburgh collection. I mean, 2000, gosh, time flies. I have to double check, you guys, but 2000, yeah, when was the supermarket summer collection? Was that 2014 or 13? I think it was 14. And 2013 was the art collection. 2012 spring summer was the windmills, the electric windmills, the air, what's it called, collection. No, that was 2013. 14 fall winter, 14 or 13 fall winter was supermarket. That was the winter collection. And then in between we had, I know 2010 was Paris Shanghai. And spring summer 2010 was the Barnyard collection, which I also adored. I wanted everything from all of the wheat pieces, the Chanel wheat from the 2010 spring summer collection. I wanted everything from that. And then the cruise collection 2010, 9/10 was Venice Lido. I have all the sunglasses from the runway from that show, the Edward Melcarth inspired Vampira bat shades and butterfly shades and Peggy Guggenheim butterfly shades, and the Masquerade Ball on a stick sunglasses. Amazing. Oh, Jack says, I adore your wheat brooch. That brooch is to die for. I love it too. I wish I would have found it also in gold. They had the gold and silver version. I got it in silver, but I was really late to the game on that one. And actually, I got it on sale. That one was on sale. It made it to sale, which is insane. And because it's 2013, I don't know. I didn't know you entered the Chanel game that late. No, I didn't enter the Chanel game that late. That was just the first leather bag I got. But I have been a customer of Chanel since 2002. And in 2003, I got my first brooch. 2003 was, you know that little candy brooch that I have of, it's the profile of Coco on resin in the colors of the French flag. So it is a photo taken of Coco Chanel in the 30s, but they just took her head. They use often this profile for, you know, brooches or whatever have you. They still use that profile from time to time today. So 2003 fall winter, or was it spring summer, I got the resin brooch, which was just like a little candy. Oh, I love it. I of course I still have it today. You could check that out on my Coco Chanel is in my house Instagram profile. You can scroll through the pictures. You're gonna cross upon that Coco profile brooch. So that was like 2003, 2002, 2003 was the first time I bought kind of like fashion or fashion accessories. But before 2002, I was already client of Chanel perfumes, because I would go to the boutique to buy the boutique exclusive fragrances, and those you could, you know, only buy in boutiques. So I would often be there. They all knew me. They, you know, I loved Chanel perfumes so much since I was a baby practically. So, and yeah, so I started off with perfumes, and then of course I was buying vintage Chanel. And then I started 2002 or 3, I started buying new stuff from the boutique, like, you know, fashion accessories and shoes and bags and stuff like that. Well, no, bag was 2013, but 2002, 3 accessories and fashion. MK says, I love your profile picture with the scrunchie. Why don't you turn it into a brooch? I could turn it to wear it myself. I don't know. I just feel kind of awkward for me to wear my own face. I don't know. It doesn't work for me in a way. You know what I mean? But yeah. But I like to wear Coco's face because I think she has a really beautiful face and a great profile. So any brooch with Coco's face on it, I'm game. Well, guys, that was kind of my tiniest Chanel bag video, but also a little bit of a talk about the history of why I love Chanel so much and when I started buying it. So I guess there's a lot that kind of we can talk about when it comes to Chanel. I could talk for hours about it. But thank you guys so much for watching. I hope you've enjoyed this video. If you haven't already, but like my content, you can subscribe to my channel, push that subscription button, and next to it is the join button. And if you join my channel today, become a member, you get access to extra perks. You can also join me on Patreon, Super Dacob all spelled together there as well. You get to see videos that do not come to YouTube. I would also like to thank all my co-chatters today that were live watching me film this video. Thank you guys so much. Oh, Jack, so sweet of you. Thank you. Jack says we would wear a brooch with your face on it. Thank you so much. MK says just sell it to us. Maybe as a blank silhouette, says Jack. Okay, well, if you want a profile of Dacob, I can maybe think about something for merch. But thank you guys so much. You're so sweet. And here on the sidebar, we have scrolling the members and the patrons as my producers of the Fashion Bunker show. You guys are scrolling in the end credits because thanks to you, all of this is possible. Thank you guys so much for supporting the channel and letting it grow and sustaining it at the end of the day. So when it comes to these little tiny bags, I say this. You see how amazing it looks even in combination? You know, Twin Peaks shirt, never give up on love. Dacob merch, get my Dacob merch, never give up on love. Gotta, and on the shelf underneath this video, there's a little bar underneath. You can click on there and you can get the never give up on love. This is written by me and then printed. So it's not a silhouette of me, but it is my handwriting and my own quote. When it comes to these tiny little bags, I can tell you this. They enhance an outfit. They enhance a dream. They're not practical. They're not functional. They're just a beautiful accessory. And in some cases, they cost less than the costume jewelry necklaces that they sell in the boutique. So I see this as a necklace with a tiny chain attached to it. Matter of fact, another reason, touching base quickly on this before we end it completely, another reason why I wanted to take this out of the archives again and talk about it is because, in fact, what is Chanel doing for their main Spring-Summer 2021 collection? If you check out the runway, they are now going to be selling for this summer prêt-à-porter necklaces, chokers, and chains with little timeless classic miniature bags attached to them in metal. So they are kind of transformed into these kind of semi-functional metal chained with a chain, like a grid surrounding them. They're functional. You can actually open them, I think. So, and they're attached to these chains as necklaces. So they're going to be selling that necklace for way more than this cost. But this is the real deal. It is a bag on a chain. This is the necklace. This is, for me, the Chanel necklace bag, rather than buying the metal version of it, which is kind of a depiction of the bag, but it's not the bag itself. You know what I mean? Anyway, so that's why it's kind of good to have taken this one out of the archives, because they are coming back in a new revamped form, completely out of metal. Longer chains come also with pearls on top. Too complicated, too much going on with those pearls. I would avoid those pearls because they're probably going to fall off anyway. But yeah, thank you guys so much for watching. Until next time, never forget to never give up on love. Love you all. See you soon. Take care. Bye.